All right, let's talk about something we do, probably 100 times a day without a second thought. You see that app icon on your screen? You click it, and boom, the program's up and running. It feels like nothing, right? Just instant. But what's really going on behind the scenes? Well, that simple click kicks off this incredible, super fast journey that literally brings a piece of software to life.
So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? What really happens in that tiny fraction of a second? I can tell you right now, it's so much more than just opening a file. Think of it more like a complex, perfectly choreographed symphony, and it all happens in the blink of an eye.
And that's the journey we're going to take together in this explainer. We're going to follow a program as it transforms from, just a bunch of silent, lifeless code sitting on your hard drive into something active, something, alive that your computer can actually work with. It's a pretty wild transformation.
Okay, so let's start at the very beginning. From file to process. This is what we're calling the spark of life, because this is where a dormant file gets the signal to wake up and get to work.
So this slide right here shows the single most important idea. On one hand, you have the program just sitting in storage. It's totally inactive, permanent, it's just data. But then when it's running, it becomes a process. And that's a whole different beast. It's active, it's temporary, and it's actually doing things in the computer's memory. They're like two completely different states of existence.
So who's in charge of all this? Who's the big boss that makes this transformation happen? Well, that's the operating system, your OS. The best way to think about it is as the ultimate manager of your computer, or maybe a conductor of a huge orchestra. When you click that icon, you're not giving an order, you're making a request, and the OS is the one that looks at it and decides, okay, you can run now.
And the OS is a pretty strict manager. It doesn't just let anyone in. The second you click, it runs through this super important checklist. First, is this program even legit? Okay, check. Then it carves out the resources the program is going to need. And crucially, it acts like a bouncer at a club, preventing anything sketchy from running and making sure the whole system doesn't just crash. Seriously, without this gatekeeper, your computer would be absolute chaos.
All right, so the OS has given the program the green light. Now what? Well, the program needs a place to actually do its work. It can't run straight from the hard drive. That's just long-term storage. It needs a temporary, super fast workshop. And that place is the RAM.
Yep, RAM, random access memory. And listen, this is a really important point to get. The brains of the computer, the CPU, it literally cannot execute instructions or access data that isn't in RAM. It's the only place the action can happen. It's the official staging area for everything.
But you might be asking, why? I've got a super fast SSD. Why can't the CPU just use that? The answer is one word: speed. Your CPU is so ridiculously fast that waiting for data from even the fastest storage drive would be, an eternity. It's like asking an F1 driver to wait for someone to deliver gas with a bucket. RAM is the high-octane fuel pump right there on the engine. Without it, the whole system would just grind to a halt.
And this brings us right back to that key term we mentioned earlier, a process. So once a program is loaded into RAM, it's not just a program anymore, it is a process. The OS gives it its own little walled-off garden, its own isolated sandbox in memory, which is super important because it stops it from messing with all the other processes running at the same time. This is the program alive and kicking.
Okay, so our processes is now loaded into its workshop. The RAM, it's ready to go. So now it's time to actually do the work. And for that, we need to meet the tireless worker, the engine of this whole thing, the CPU. The CPU, for all its power, is actually a pretty simple creature. It just does the same four-step dance over and over, relentlessly. Step 1, fetch an instruction from RAM. Step 2, decode what it's supposed to do. Step 3, execute it. Add these two numbers, or move this piece of data. And step 4, write the result back. That's it. Fetch, decode, execute, write. Again and again and again.
And here's the crazy part. It's not doing anything super complex in any one step, but it does that simple loop billions of times per second. Let that sink in. Billions. And that staggering speed is what creates the illusion of everything happening at once, of this smooth, fluid experience you get from your software. It's just pure brute force speed.
Okay, but hold on. That brings up a pretty obvious question, right? If the CPU can only do one tiny thing at a time, how in the world can I have my browser open, listen to music, and type in a document all at the same time? It feels like they're all running at once.
Well, the answer is, it's an illusion, a brilliant magic trick pulled off by our friend, the operating system. What you see is a bunch of apps running in parallel. But what's really happening is the OS is playing a super fast shell game with the CPU's attention. It tells the CPU, okay, work on the browser for a few microseconds. Now switch, work on the music player. Now switch, work on the document. It happens so mind-blowingly fast that to us, slow humans, it looks like it's all happening at the same time. It's not parallel, it's just incredibly fast switching.
Now, the OS's job as manager goes way beyond just scheduling the CPU. Think about it. For security, you can't have every random program directly accessing your keyboard or your hard drive or the internet. That would be a disaster. So a process isn't all-powerful. If it needs to do anything that involves the outside world, it has to ask permission from the OS. And that formal request, hey boss, can I please write to this file? That's called a system call.
And when you stop and think about it, almost everything a program does that's actually useful to you requires a system call. You save a file? System call. You see something pop up on the screen? System call. You type on your keyboard? Yep, system call. Your app connects to the internet? You guessed it, system call. Every process is in a constant conversation with the OS, asking for permission to do its job.
Okay, so we've seen how a process is born and how it lives its life working away. But all good things must come to an end. What happens when you're finished with the app and you click that little X in the corner? We've reached the end of the line.
Well, this is where the OS manager puts on its cleanup crew hat. It steps in, terminates that process, and meticulously reclaims everything it was using. All that memory it was occupying in RAM, it's wiped clean and given back to the system. Any files it had open, they're closed. Just like that, the process is gone. It's no longer alive. And the program goes right back to being that silent dormant file on your storage drive, just waiting for you to click it again.
So there you have it, the entire life of a process, from start to finish. It's dormant in storage. The OS awakens it. It becomes active in RAM. The CPU executes its commands. And finally, it's terminated. That's the cycle. Every single program you run, from a tiny calculator to a massive video game, follows this exact same journey.
So to really lock this in, let's do a quick roll call of our 4 main players using those analogies. Storage, that's the library where all the instruction books are kept. The OS, that's the manager, the boss, calling all the shots. RAM, that's the workbench, the only place any real work gets done. And the CPU, that's our tireless worker hammering away at the tasks. Library, manager, workbench, worker. Got it?
You know, this quote really nails the whole idea. A stored program is just potential. It becomes real only when the operating system loads it into RAM and the CPU begins executing its instructions. I mean, that's it, right there. A file on your disk is just an idea. It's a blueprint. It only truly exists when all those pieces, the OS, the RAM, and the CPU, come together to bring it to life.
So we've seen how every single click you make starts this little life cycle. It's an elegant, almost perfect system, which leads to a final, interesting thought. What happens when it all breaks down? The next time an app freezes up, or you get that dreaded crash, now you can think about it differently. You can ask yourself, where did the dance go wrong? Which one of those steps just failed?